Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. I know that you know that I am always thrilled that you're here listening to this podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about being disciplined in your thoughts. And so, you hear in manifesting community a lot thoughts become things, or your thoughts manifest, or what you're consistently thinking about is what manifests. Your dominant thoughts manifest. And I think that's true. My thing that I have said consistently on this podcast is it's your focus that manifests. And if we think about our focus is what we're thinking about consistently. It's where our attention is. It's what we're looking at. It's what we're thinking about. It's what we're probably having feelings about. And so, with that, with our focus that manifests, this is the thing that I think it can be a lesson that you have to learn over and over again, right? And it's that you can choose where to put your focus. And even when it feels difficult, like what's happening in the 3D reality, let's do an example. So, if something's happening in the 3D reality, like your specific person is not texting you back, or they're not texting you at all and you want to hear from them, and you have that type of relationship where you would expect to hear from them, and that's really got some feelings churning up inside of you, and maybe even some doubt and some thoughts of, I'm not going to get my manifestation. They don't love me. They're not interested. Sort of wherever you are on the spectrum of your specific person relationship. So if you're in those types of feelings and you're thinking about it over and over again, you want to be disciplined to be able to change your focus to something else, right? I mean, it's natural for your attention to go to the place of where it's naturally focused on what's happening in your current 3D reality. That is kind of how, but when we're focused on the circumstances, when we're focused on what's happening in our current now 3D reality that's already manifested, that you already know, when your focus is there, you're continuing to keep that alive in your reality. You're continuing to keep that alive inside of yourself, in your internal world. And so, because that's what's in your internal world, that's what's going to continue to push out in your external world. And so, when something like that happens, or whatever's happening now, it doesn't even matter if it's that, whatever you're currently focused on now, you have to be disciplined to make sure you're returning to, in your internal world, in your thoughts, wherever your focus is, to what you want. So if in this example, what you want is, to hear from somebody, or you want a relationship with a specific person, you're going to return to, briefly, a place where inside of yourself where you feel like you're with that person, where you've gotten the text message. And this is in your imagination, and you're going to feel good about that. And if you can't stay there, you want to be disciplined to put your focus somewhere else that you can stay. So, what I mean by that is, if you're like sort of stirred up by the 3D circumstances, if you're sort of stirred up and not able to stay in that place where you have access in your imagination what it is you want, getting the text message, being in a relationship, the job, the promotion, the money, whatever it is, right? Like, it doesn't really matter what the specific thing you're manifesting is. You want to turn your attention and your focus to a different subject. And you want to stay disciplined in your mind to keep returning to, briefly, it doesn't have to be for very long, what you want. And sort of staying calm. We talked about yesterday indifference, reaching for indifference if you can get there. If you can't, that's fine. You don't have to be able to get there every moment of every day. But still reaching for it, still practicing this. I really am coming to the belief that manifesting is a practice in the way that like yoga is a practice and you return to it. Like your mind and your thoughts and your focus, what's creating your 3D circumstances, that's really something you're practicing doing with yourself in your own internal world. And, we talked about a lot of techniques on this podcast, and I think they're all wonderful. I'm a big fan of techniques, but it's really not even about that. It's about you developing your relationship with you and your higher self and in your internal world. And it's making sure that and to get what you want, because remember, I always end this podcast with, may you manifest exactly what you want. And that is my goal for you. That's my goal for myself. I want to manifest exactly what I want. That's why I'm learning this. That's why I've learned it. And that's why I have learned things that I want to share with anyone who wants to hear this message, this information. You absolutely can have what you want. I absolutely can have what I want. And I continue to learn and grow and practice. And so I've been learning about keeping my mind and my thoughts and my focus disciplined lately, and I wanted to share that with you. And so with that, may you manifest exactly what you want.